Jamaica, there is a bit of confusion because the government is celebrating. The opposition is saying that the court halted the provisions by the government. Let me bring in Fitz Jackson tonight to Jamaica. And the other panels to tell us exactly what is happening. Fitz Jackson, Alanda Terry Long is saying tonight that it's a win for them because the Justice Sykes today removed the injunction, and as such, they can go ahead and do as is prescribed to get Portmore a parish. Can you really explain today what really happened in the Supreme Court?
First of all, good evening, Andre. Good evening to your team.
Yes, sir,
Jackson. Good evening to your listeners across the world. I've come to learn myself that your program is not a local one. It's just based locally, but have an international audience. So I want to extend my warm greetings to all your listeners. The question you asked, Andre, let us try to make it as simple and straightforward as possible. When we went to the court 2 weeks ago, in the claims that were filed, among a number of claims in our submissions, first and foremost amongst them is the constitutional breach that will occur should the law passed in Parliament come into effect, which is, as the law was written and passed,
yes,
if it comes into being, it will establish a parish boundary, that of the new proposed parish of Portmore, that cuts across two constituencies that are established in law. All constituencies in Jamaica have defined boundaries, and they are legally constituted.
Yes.
And so if the law passed or about to come into force, it would be in breach of a particular section of the Constitution. That is 67, section 67, that says no constituency should or can straddle two parishes. So because of the gerrymandering intent of the parish creation, the JLP drew a boundary that cuts off certain communities that predominantly vote PNP. Some in my constituency of South St. Catherine, and some in the neighboring constituency being contested by Raymond Price, the PNP candidate. Now, if that boundary should prevail, a breach would immediately occur. And that is what brought urgency to the matter. Because from what we learned, the government had proceeded to pass the bill in the lower house, in the Senate, and it went ahead and had the GG's assent. And the last step left was for it, appointed date to be set by the minister for it to come in effect. Now, those three steps, the passage in the lower house, the passage in the Senate, and the assent, all of those took place within a period of about 3 weeks.
So the Governor General even signed off on it?
Yes. On the 12th of March, I think it was. And the bill was about the 12th or 15th of March, thereabout.
And then the Senate had it,
The Senate the Senate passed it before. It
went to the GG.
We go to the GG. I made that point to demonstrate the rapid speed
they were going at.
All three steps were created within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. The only one left now is for the minister in charge of the bill to set the appointed date.
Announcement.
Well, Well, not so much announcement.
But the appointment of the date.
Set a date to say, as of such and such a date, this act will come into force. That was all that was left. So the point I'm making, and I want to reemphasize, the government was going at rapid speed.
Yes.
To bring the law into effect. And you will recall that during the debate in the lower house and in the Senate, they never made mention of any constitutional requirement to be met. Yes. They closed their eyes to the Constitution. And I say that with certainty because after the bill passed in the lower house, yes, the PNP wrote to the minister in charge of it, Minister Mackenzie, to say, look, Minister, if you even want to really go ahead and create this parish thing, there is a constitutional breach that would occur. Yes. Because you can't change, one, you can't straddle two constituencies. Two, you can't change constituency boundaries without following the procedure set out in the Constitution, which require those to be settled at least 2 years before an election. So, Minister, be mindful of this. And even if it passed the House, don't bring it into effect because of these breaches that will occur. Yes. Up to today, the minister has not even granted the courtesy, yes, of replying to that letter. And that reinforced the point that they were gung-ho in breaching the law. So we went to court. We filed a matter in the court to say, court, look at what is happening. An urgent matter, an urgency is occurring here. The Constitution is about to be breached. And so the lawyers filed what they call an affidavit for urgent hearing. Yes. Which went under my name on behalf of the team. And the court, as it usually does for urgent matters, convened the sitting within a matter of 3 days last week. Having put the matter before the court and to see what is about to happen, the court said, no. If this becomes law on the surface of it, it will be in breach of the Constitution. That's what the court said today. No, that's what the court said back then. Last week. Last week. And the court went further and said, but the AG representing the government said, well, Judge, we never really intend to breach the Constitution. Hey! We never really intend to bring it into law. That's what the Attorney General said? Yes. We never really intend to bring it into law yet and breach the Constitution. And the judge said, well, will you give an undertaking that you will not sign it into law if what you say is true? And they said, well, we can't give that undertaking because we have no such instructions. So the judge said, well, if you can't give an undertaking, well, I am going to issue this order to forbid you from bringing it into law, given that it will breach the Constitution. That is what the judge said today. No, that's what the judge, according to today, that's what the judge said last week. And they said, look, Judge, we would like to submit our own argument to support our case. So the judge said, okay, natural justice requires you to make your point. So until you make your point, the court will forbid you from bringing the law into force. Yes. Hence, the interim injunction was issued last week. Interim. And the court said, until we hear what you have to say. So we got an interim injunction last week to say everything remain as it is. You can't bring it into force until you come back before the court to make your case. So they came back to court today and they said, well, Judge, we really don't intend to break the law, to break the Constitution. So, Judge, so court, we will give an unequivocal undertaking that we will not bring it into force. So the judge said, okay, now that you're prepared to say that you will not bring it into force, as per instruction from your minister, I will now allow you not to do that unless until you comply with Section 67, which is the constitutional requirement, to not have any boundary that breaks constituencies in two. So when the gentleman on the other side says they win, what happened today is that an injunction that says you can't bring this into law. They come today and say, Judge, we will do as you wish.
And they had to set them back down.
And we are giving you an undertaking, court, that we will not do it. So the judge said, okay, since you are pledging unequivocally that you will not breach the Constitution, I am so allowing you to go ahead and do what you want to do until you comply with the law, which is really what we said at the beginning. You can't do what you're doing and breach the law. You have to do it in keeping with the law. So the court has upheld our position.
So what I just want to know, Sir Fitz, if they came today and said forthwith that they were going to sign it into law, then the injunction would be upheld.
Oh, I wouldn't say an injunction would be upheld. It would be a breach of the law.
Oh.
An order, you know. An order. A court ruling is like law.
Basically, the government has decided that they're not going to continue at this time.
No, they're not going to continue as they were going before because it would be in breach of the Constitution. And so, court, we will wait until whatever changes are made by the electoral office to bring this in conformity with the law.
So you're talking about a 2-year period?
Roughly. At least, well, you know, bear in mind that the EOJ, not the PNP, not me, the EOJ said in its letter of February 12th, to the clerk of the House and the government, that for them to make the changes to comply with Section 67, it will take over 1 year. And you know what is supposed to happen in September.
Oh, yes.
So if what they're going to do will have to take over 1 year, it means that we're going to go into the next election with the boundaries as they are. And what that means is that certain sitting member of parliament would have now become a confirmed loser. Because if given that the boundaries will not be disrupted, right? Because remember, the genesis of all of this was told to us by Mr. Warmington. He said these boundaries that we have got now and we're putting in place is to make sure that we don't lose certain seats. Well, he is not getting the boundary that he wants going into the next election.
Very long in problem now.
So, well, even if you're a blind man at midnight, you could see that crystal clear.
Raymond giving him a problem over there.
Well, he knows that. And Andre, that's why the fight was so much to even break the breach the Constitution.
Yes.
In order to secure that seat. But another dimension to this action, you know, that Mr. Warmington told us publicly,
yes,
is to create the parish to cut away Portmore from the rest of St. Catherine so that they can stand a chance to control St. Catherine Municipal Corporation.
Yes.
That's where the gerrymandering comes in, where the incumbent government uses its parliamentary authority or majority to create political boundaries, in this case, both a parish boundary and constituency boundaries for their advantage. Mindful too, you know, Andre, that for over 45 years now,
yes,
over 45 years, all political boundaries, be it constituency or divisions are done by the EOJ, not the political party in office. Over 45 years. And for that reason,
and Holness wanted to change that.
And Mr. Holness want to change that. And we know what used to happen before that 45 days. 45 years. Where we had almost 1,000 people murdered in Jamaica. And many other injured. And many had to run away because of the political violence caused by a political system where an incumbent government uses its authority to thwart the political process and its structure for their own benefit. So, and when we make the point about securing our democracy,
yes,
those were not loose words. That is what we are trying to secure. Preserving the electoral office of Jamaica and its independence in running our elections. And in running elections, one important exercise in running our elections is to determine political boundaries.
True.
So it's a very, very serious matter that goes beyond an election and really goes beyond a particular seat or two here or there. It's preserving that 45-year-old tradition that has served us well, rather than return to the dark days of mass murder and killing and maiming of our Jamaican people. And any member and every member of the Jamaica Labour Party who hug up what they are doing here should be ashamed of themselves.
But why is it that Terry Long is celebrating and cheerleading and being flamboyant in his...
Because he doesn't have the courage to admit that the court has ruled that you can't continue to do what you were doing. And they gave that undertaking. The government gave the undertaking to the court, and the court said, okay, we will take your undertaking that you will not proceed as you were going. And that's why I said in a release that what the ruling has done is to block the government from proceeding in the way that it was proceeding. And so to say, look, here is a constitution. Here are some requirements that you must meet. Settle this first before this law comes into being. And I already told you earlier on how long it would take to settle that.
So as being stated tonight, Jamaica, the elections in Portmore will not be affected by boundary changes.
Correct. That we can say unequivocally. Boundaries will not be affected going into the next general election.
That the Silverstone division will remain not, the Silverstone division.
Actually, it's a Portmore Pines division.
Pines division.
Yes.
So the Portmore Pines division that the Labour Party government wanted to annex, wanted to change, it will not be changed for this election. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct. And the Greater Portmore North Division, which falls in my constituency.
That is down the Holding and Clifton and all of those places.
All those areas in that division, that will remain undisrupted. So the residents of Quarry Hill that voted for me overwhelmingly, they will be able to vote for me overwhelmingly. In fact, I had a meeting just about 2 weeks ago there.
Yes.
And it was very interesting, Andre. Because of what the government was seeking to do to cut them away, they have resolved to come out and vote 100% for the People's National Party this time around. Not 85%. So they 100%.
We have got the orange field over there.
I must tell you, I was struck by it. And earlier on today, I was passing through Lake Spen, right, which was once a part of my constituency for a number of years. So, I have some very deep relationship over there. And the people over there was jubilant.
My God.
When they heard the news that they will remain a part of East Central St. Catherine.
The ants just wake up over there, Fitz Jackson.
They are not aware of what they have done, or they do not fully grasp the consequences of what they have attempted to do by cutting up that constituency. And so I must tell you, my phone don't stop ringing since it hit the news that the ruling was what it is, that will keep the boundaries as they are going into the next election. And I can say this.
Understanding then, why is the government adamant to confuse the people that they won in the court today?
Because they are not honest and humble enough to accept defeat.
My God.
When they say that they win, ask them the question, what was this unequivocal undertaking given by the government not to do is all about? Just ask that question. It says...
Who was the judge? Who was the judge today?
It was the chief.
The Chief Justice, Justice Brand.
Yes.
Mighty God. The Justice Brand Sykes that this government wanted to put on
probation.
Hey, Justice Brand Sykes that Holness wanted to put under probation.
Yep.
My God.
It was very clear. It says the defendants give an unequivocal undertaking not to appoint a day for the Counties and Parish Amendment Act 2025 to come into operation until the procedure prescribed in Section 67 of the Constitution has been complied with. Not will be complied with, has been complied with. And an order is made under Section 67 of the Constitution. It means that you have to demonstrate before that law can ever be signed into action.
So what today, Fitz Jackson, with the attorneys representing the People's National Party?
Sorry, could you repeat that question, please?
What you did today with the attorneys of the People's National Party is that you have basically reversed the order that the Labour Party government wanted to set over Portmore.
Not just the order, the law that they wanted to execute to just gerrymander boundaries and circumvent the EOJ. That is the crux of the matter, you know, because they did this so that they don't have to deal with the EOJ.
Yes.
Because they have a majority in Parliament. So they say, oh, we are the government. We can do what we want to do. We want boundaries to run like this. The court said, no. You can't do that.
But suppose the Prime Minister bullied the EOJ to say need the boundaries to be sorted out in the next 2 months.
No, but the EOJ, is also represented. We have representation there too. And the EOJ has made it clear that they are not going to sacrifice their integrity, their character, and the altar of political convenience.
Oh.
They have a process to do the job professionally, and they are going to do that. And that was clear when they wrote, not just say, they wrote, put it in writing to the Parliament on February 12th to say.
So the Prime Minister, this government, Warmington, Terry-mandering, all of them now is at a crossroads, and them have to go find a way now in an attempt to try.
No, sorry, I lost you just now.
You made a profound statement just now that Terry Long lose already.
Well, why go through all the fight if it never would mean anything to them? We didn't start it, We just run our campaign on the boundaries that the electoral office have established. And we've been going out there and appealing to the people to support us. And they have been responding. And what has irked the Jamaica Labour Party?
Yes.
Is that the people have been responding to us in the way that they have been over the past few years. That was demonstrated in the last local government election. And the opinion polls subsequently have reconfirmed the overall preference of the people for the People's National Party. It is that reality that is giving them a problem. No, Andre, you don't have to be a genius, right? If the JLP was confident that it could win the election, we wouldn't have in this conversation about when an election is going to be, you know. It would have been called already.
What is that, Fitz Jackson?
If the JLP was confident that they would win the election, we would be having a conversation now about when an election would be.
You
would have been held already.
You mean the canvas where them says 22 seats, them going with?
Well, that seems more than what we think they will get.
Hey, Fitz Jackson, what you said?